My garden was successful again this year. Today is September 2nd, and this is what my garden looks like.
Hi, I'm Maria, and welcome to Living Planet Friendly, where I document my imperfect, low-waste lifestyle.
I've harvested a lot of peppers, peas, beans, broccoli, carrots, and so much more. Things are starting to slow down production. The only things that are still growing are loofahs. If this is your first time seeing my gardens or my account, hi, I'm Maria. I chaos plant every year with no idea what I'm planting when and researching only when things go wrong. So my last 2 years have been a huge learning process, but I'm ready to hit the ground running for next year. First, let's talk about the mistakes I made this year. This DIY garden trellis was an absolute fail. It looks great and works for beans and peas, but it just was not strong enough to hold loofahs. It bent down the second my third loofah started to get big. So I invested in a large trellis that I'm gonna put together at the end of the season and put it in the garden before I fill the gardens even more, so it's ready for next year. Speaking of filling garden beds, I spent a really long time trying to fill these garden beds with as much free stuff as I could. So I used cardboard, shredded paper, food waste, twigs, anything that I could find. And over the last 4 months, these beds have really sunken down as things start to degrade, which I knew was gonna happen, but I didn't realize it would settle quite so much. So this particular bed struggled. None of the lettuce, kale, or spinach seeds I planted this year actually sprouted. Everything over here I added to the bed after the fact over the last couple months. Because this sunk so much, I think it got too much shade because of the trellis, which will be perfect for shade vegetables, but I think then the added side of the garden bed shading it which was a recipe for things just not wanting to grow. So in the beginning of October, Western New York is going to get their first frost usually. I will cut everything down because it'll die after the first frost. We'll fill the bed with leaves, other matter that will break down, more twigs and logs. And then we're gonna add some quality compost and soil to the top of the bed. My other issue is that a lot of my plants this year were late bloomers. I didn't start seeds this year until really late because we were getting married in March and I just did not have the time. So I purchased a lot of seedlings. A lot of the seedlings I purchased just did not do well. I don't know what the issue was. They didn't really grow very much. But to be honest, me being a chaos gardener, I did not do any research before about how big things would get. Last time I grew eggplant in my parents' garden, it was tiny. I'm talking like this big, and I had an eggplant like this big on it. It did not grow at all. This year, my eggplant grew crazy. My cucumber never actually grew because it was hidden behind the eggplant because I didn't expect the eggplant to get very big. I honestly had no idea eggplant plants could get this big. And I had a couple spicy pepper plants that were planted near there that also got overshadowed when the eggplant just kind of blew up. It worked out really well though because I harvested over a dozen eggplants throughout the whole season, and when I did my last harvest of them, I had 8 eggplants that I was able to preserve. And then I also had some green onions in there. They kind of got overshadowed. They only started to grow after I cut the eggplant down. Gardening is all about learning. So I've learned from this year's mistakes. I have plans in place to correct my beds and to add my new trellis, and my 2024 garden is already planned for next year. You might think I'm crazy for having my 2024 garden planned out already, but it's fine. There's good reasons for it. These are all proportional to how big my garden beds are. And then these are gonna be like my deck pots. And then this is a corner of our yard that I'm taking over. And then herbs. I haven't figured out how I'm gonna grow herbs next year. The tower didn't really work out very well this year. Not sure what I'm gonna do for that yet. This fall, I did a ton of research for next year on how big plants are gonna get. I was doing the research as I was mapping out where they were gonna go. And I did some companion planting. I did a little bit of that this year and it worked really well. I've also got some new things that I'm growing, actually a lot of new things that I've never grown before. And the trellis that I bought is so big that I get to make use of both sides of it. So this like diamond pattern is the trellis and it goes a little bit more than halfway through each bed. So I get to make use of both sides of the trellis. So I needed a little bit of planning to happen. Yeah, maybe I planned a little early and I already bought all of my seeds for next year, but the first is gonna come so fast. By February, it'll be time to start seeds, and it's gonna be here so soon. Also, I'm planting some onion, garlic, and shallots, which need to go in the ground in the fall and or really early spring. But the garlic's gonna definitely go in the fall to overwinter, so I can harvest them late summer. So I needed to know where I was gonna put them and how that's gonna work. I'm gonna give you a sneak peek as to what I'm growing next year. I'm growing popping corn, glass gem corn, Roma tomatoes, broccoli, strawberries, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, cucumber, cucamelon, garbanzo beans, green onions, of course marigolds. I use those as like a natural pest control. Bell pepper, banana pepper, cayenne pepper, jalapeno pepper, a ton of carrots and radishes, romaine lettuce, kale, black beans, sugar snap peas, yard-long beans, loofahs, of course, shallots, onions, and garlic, and beets. And it's gonna be staggered too. Like I have 6 romaine lettuce heads, but they're not all gonna grow at the same time. We're gonna stagger the seeds. Same with the kale, same with the beets. The peppers have plenty of space. I'm gonna try pruning them to make them bush peppers, to make them be more like bushes. And then everything that can vine is gonna vine over my trellis, which is pretty heavy duty. So hopefully it'll hold as much as I want it to next year. And then in my deck pots, we're gonna grow eggplant, more popping corn and glass gem corn. I'm growing rainbow slicing tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, more Roma tomatoes, purple tomatillos, green tomatillos, sweet potatoes, and potatoes. I'm also gonna grow sugar pie pumpkins, and I also bought these black pumpkin seeds, which I'm so excited to try. The pumpkins are literally supposed to be black, so we'll see how that goes. The herbs I'm gonna grow are just gonna be regular kitchen herbs that will fill my spice containers. Basil, thyme, parsley, cilantro, rosemary, oregano, dill, chives, turmeric, and ginger. And then I'm also gonna plant some chamomile in the back garden bed with like my flowers. I know, I'm a little crazy. I mapped this out so early. This was my like end of August project because once I got started, I just couldn't stop. I was only gonna do enough to figure out where like my onion, garlic, and shallots were gonna be, but then I got too excited looking at all the different things I could grow and then trying to fit it in. The other thing that I want to touch on is how I'm starting my seeds next year. I've been the upcycling gardener my entire time gardening. I save yogurt containers and sour cream containers to start plants. I am moving past that phase of my life because I find that I struggle so hard to be able to fit all those things and take care of all those in different containers. I don't think the drainage ever works out properly. So I made an investment. I've been following Epic Gardening my entire gardening time online. It's so fascinating how he's turned his entire home into a homestead and this massive urban garden. Goals, honestly. But he also has created the perfect cells and trays for seed starting. And we're switching to these seed cell starting trays. I bought them on sale, so they weren't super expensive, and it's pretty good if you buy like the biggest bundle, which gives you enough for like 700 seedlings, something like that. Heavy duty trays, heavy duty seed starting cells. So I'm gonna try those out next year and see if I have better success with seed starting using those instead of the really flimsy plastic ones. His also have holes in the bottom and the sides, easy to pop out, and also gives the roots aeration that they need to thrive. These should be coming in the mail in the next couple days. I'm so excited. I can't wait to pull them out and see how they look. Gardening is all about learning. I'm constantly learning from my own mistakes and from gardeners online. I'm so excited to see what next year brings. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can follow along and see if my master plan for next year works. Or check out my other platforms on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest. Happy gardening and see you next time.